Hello and welcome to On the Wrist. Today we have the Norqain Wild ONE series. These watches have custom materials for the case, they have excellent movements, and the design, as you can see, is absolutely spectacular. I have 3 different versions out of the collection to show you, 1 of the regular editions and 2 limited. We'll go over all the technical details of these watches, design features, and get some wrist shots in this full review. After a quick introduction, we'll get right into it. This review was actually filmed at Royal Jewelers in Andover, Massachusetts. Royal Jewelers is the location where I purchased my Tudor Black Bay as well as my Oris Big Crown Pointer Date. I shop there quite often and I actually bring a lot of friends to this store because I enjoy it so much. They were kind enough to let me handle these watches to do the review, so a big shout out to Royal Jewelers, and if you're in the Massachusetts area, I wholeheartedly recommend you check them out. I believe they're also one of the only authorized dealers for Norqain in New England. In a moment, I'll go over the design details of each of these variants here, as well as the technical specs, which are all the same for each one. But first, I want to start with the difference in the 3 editions that I have for you. The blue one is the standard edition. There's also a black one seen here. And then the black one with the sand-colored shock absorber is the Hakuna Mipaka limited edition. And the watch with the red case and gray dial is also a limited edition. Now, the design details. Alright, so on the blue edition here, the first thing that'll strike you is obviously that dial, the mandala pattern that is 3 different levels cut into the dial. In addition to that, I really enjoy that the branding as well as all the markers around the dial are white, gives it incredible visibility, and is a nice pop of color on top of that blue with the black case to really make it stand out. And I love that the side rubber is also the same blue as the dial. It gives a nice pop of color on the front as well as the sides of the watch and really adds to the sports watch feel. And here we have the Hakuna Mipaka limited edition. This is limited to 500 pieces and is a collaboration with Dean Schneider. 10% of the proceeds of this watch go to the Hakuna Mipaka Oasis in South Africa, which is a sanctuary for a bunch of different wildlife species. Visually, what sets this apart from the other watches in this collection is A, the colors, and B, the lion fur pattern on the dial as well as on the strap. These straps are certified vegan rubber, and this watch has a totally unique look from anything else in the collection. The sand-colored rubber shock absorber actually has sand from the Hakuna Mipaka Oasis that Dean Schneider physically gathered himself, so not only does this watch have a unique visual element, but it also supports a great cause. And now we have the Burgundy and Gray edition. This is a limited edition of 200 pieces, the main difference being that the hands and indices are coated in rose gold. Same layout, technical specs as the other editions, it's just this, I really love this burgundy color, and I think on the gray dial, the pattern stands out the most to me from further away. And one thing I really enjoy is if you look at that burgundy case, I think this color best accentuates the NORTEQ material, the proprietary material, because you can kind of see the pattern throughout the material, which gives it a totally unique look. Of the variants, I think this style has the most to offer with the rose gold hands, the white sections of the indices, the burgundy case, gold logo. There's so many more colors on this version than the other ones, it really stands out from the rest. It's understandable why this one is a limited edition. I'll pull up the technical specs on the side here. So the diameter is 42 millimeters, a pretty good size. The thickness is 12.3 millimeters thick, so not too thick, nicely sized. It has 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal. The movement, which I'll talk about a little more later, is the manufacturer caliber NN20/1 with a 70-hour power reserve and is chronometer certified. And as you can see here, there's a small amount of lume on each indice as well as on each of the hands. And the case is made of the NORTEQ material. You can see an exploded view here that shows all the different components in the assembly of the case. The NORTEQ material is a proprietary material developed specifically for Norqain, and it's 6 times lighter than steel and 3.5 lighter than titanium. Incredibly light but immensely durable, and you can see that the rubber shock absorber they have adds a flare of color, and with this construction it can withstand 5,000 Gs. Each watch has an exhibition back, as you can see here on the blue edition. The movement, as I mentioned before, is the NN20/1 manufacturer caliber. This is manufactured by Kenissi, which is the same manufacturing house that makes the Tudor in-house movement in the Black Bay series. These movements appear to be nearly identical. Caliber Corner has a great webpage on this, which I'll link in the description below, but essentially the movement used by Norqain is nearly identical to what Tudor is using in their Black Bay series. So 70-hour power reserve, 28,800 beats per hour, and chronometer certified performance. Each of the limited editions, as you've seen, has a slightly different image on the case back, but each one is exhibition, so you can always see the beautiful movement. And one nice touch for Norqain is that they have engraved in gold there, adventure, freedom, and independence on the bridge of the movement. Let's get a couple shots on the wrist. But real quick, let's check what time it is. It looks like it's time to like and subscribe. Did you know that less than 3% of viewers are actually subscribed to the channel? So if you are enjoying this video and like my content, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button because it will significantly help this video in the YouTube algorithm. But thank you for watching, and let's get back to the review. And here we have it on my 7¼ inch wrist. I'm really enjoying the look of this watch as well as the feel of wearing it. It's not too thick, and that rubber strap is incredibly comfortable. With a diameter of 42mm, I think it sits quite nicely on my 7¼ inch wrist. I was a little wary about the 49.4 lug to lug, but because the strap immediately downturns at the edge, it fits nicely. And here we have the Hakuna Mipaka edition. This one has the lion fur strap on the side, and you can see that wavy lion hair pattern on the dial. I think color-wise, I like the sand color, it really pops. Of the three, this is probably my least favorite visually, but I can definitely see the appeal of this watch to someone who loves these colors or what the watch stands for. And here we have it on the burgundy and gray. I think this is my favorite. I'm a little torn about the gray color, but I am an absolute sucker for the burgundy and gold. I think it just pops so nicely in the light, incredibly visible, and it highlights the best qualities of this watch. You can see even the buckle is made of the NORTEQ material, which is a nice pairing color-wise with the actual case. Now, let's talk MSRP and value. So MSRP of the blue dial as well as the black dial with the green accents, the regular edition, is $5,290. The Hakuna Mipaka edition is $5,590, with 10% going to the Dean Schneider Foundation. And the gray dial with the burgundy case is $5,690 US. That price point puts this well into luxury watch category. So for me, when I evaluate luxury watches, it's on a different scale than regular micro brands or more affordable watches. For me, I tend to look at other watches in the similar price category to determine how it fits in the scape of luxury watches. So for example, when I look at this watch, I compare that its movement is very similar to the Tudor Black Bay 58. The Tudor is significantly less expensive. However, the Wild One has the proprietary case material, it has an exhibition back, and has a bunch of unique aesthetic features not found in the Black Bay. Comparing it to something like the Breitling Super Ocean 42, which is about the similar price point with the bronze version, again, you compare unique material on the Breitling versus the proprietary material on the Norqain. And you can also compare it to brands like Bell & Ross. The BR05, for example, is in a similar price range, uses a modified Salida movement, I believe. So here I'd give the edge to Norqain. Their movement is chronometer certified. The Knissi is a bit unique, whereas Bell & Ross there went with a more standard movement as the base of their watch. So I think at a price standpoint wise for the design in the luxury watch space, this is competitive. I do think it seems a little on the higher side for not having as much brand recognition as a brand like Tudor or Breitling. But this is almost a micro brand of luxury watches. So you're paying for the exclusivity, the uniqueness, and I think the material spec trade-off compared to other watches in this price category is there. But again, maybe edging on the side of a little more expensive. Closing thoughts are, I think the aesthetics of this watch are great. I really have enjoyed my time handling them. I think the overall value is there when you consider it in a luxury watch perspective. I'm really excited to see what Norqain does in the future, and I highly recommend checking out one of these watches in person if you're interested, because they look great. And again, huge thank you to Royal Jewelers for having me. I really appreciate them giving me a chance to handle these watches. If you're in Massachusetts, go check them out. They're located in Andover. Let me know down in the comments below, though, what do you think of these watches? Do you like the color offerings? How do you feel about the price for the features offered? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. That's all for me today. This has been On The Wrist. Thank you for watching.